let's go ahead and head over to the high-level area. So in the high-level area, we will go ahead and show you how Thief works, as well as a larger-scale dynamic event. So I talked a little bit about how we want our combat to be very active, to be very dependent on position, and nowhere is that more true than with the thief profession. The thief profession is a very active profession that, because they don't wear heavy armor and their health, they don't have the most health in the game, they need to constantly be on guard and making sure that their attacks hit for the most, as well as that they are dodging incoming damage from monsters. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and grab a mob here. All right. So the thief is the first profession that we revealed that uses pistols. Sarah here has equipped double pistols, which will allow her to do some devastating attacks. You'll see that one of the things, go ahead and show some dodging, because you're taking a ton of damage. One of the things that we have, as I mentioned, we never want someone just to be standing there taking all the damage. We have dodging in the game that allows you to literally avoid attacks, avoid incoming damage. So a good player will keep an eye on when attacks are coming and be able to dodge out of them. Dodging does not come for free. You'll see on the right there's a blue energy bar. As Sarah dodges, she uses up her energy bar. So one of the things that's cool and specific to the thief profession that's very different from the other professions in the game is if you look at the 5 weapon skills here, there are no cooldown timers. Instead, a thief relies on an energy pool we call initiative to get her attacks, her weapon skills off. What this allows a thief to do is a thief has a lot more latitude to chain a bunch of attacks together if they decide, you know what, I want to do a really high damage finale. One of the ways we do this is, let's go ahead and go back to pistol pistol and show unload. Unload is a particularly powerful attack that, because she's pulling off of her initiative and there's no cooldown, she can do 2 unloads back to back and really take a mob down quickly. Of course, that's a strategic choice that a thief does, because in depleting all of their initiative, they're going to be vulnerable for a period of time. We could go ahead and show stealth. Obviously, one of the key things behind a thief would be their ability to stealth. Unlike other games, stealth is not unlimited in Guild Wars 2. Stealth is a very powerful ability, and so we want it to be something that players use strategically, as opposed to something that they kind of is a safety net that they have on all the time. So there is, in fact, a timer on stealth. It is not unlimited. It should be used. It should be used with careful forethought. One of the other abilities that's unique to the thief profession is something we call shadow step, which is the ability to teleport in and out of combat quickly. And what Sarah's showing now is that she's gone ahead and switched to Dagger, which provides another very powerful skill called Leaping Death Blossom, which she did a pretty good job of using just now. Let's see. The last thing about Thief that really explains why she's called a thief is the thief has the ability to steal weapons away from the monster she's fighting and use them against her. So in the case of the Moa, she'll be able to steal a handful of feathers. You'll notice the skill bar changed. And she used them on the Moa. The feathers basically blind the Moa and stop them from attacking for a brief period of time. So you'll see that between Shadow Step, having to use stealth, also the thief has a backstab ability that is very much dependent on what position she's in when she attacks a mob. The thief has to be even more mindful than other professions as to where they are on the battlefield, what's happening, and what's going on, because we very much want players to be playing and looking at their tune as opposed to studying the UI all the time while they're in combat. Yeah. we're trying to find some giant tree-like. Oh, that looks like, yeah, there we go. Oakarts are particularly fierce opponents.
An example of shadow step again, a little bit from a further distance now.
Yeah. So again, it allows the thief to get in close really, really quickly. And if you're particularly skilled, you have a way of like getting in a couple attacks and then jumping out very quickly. There you go. So what Sarah did just there is she went ahead and switched weapons. There's a one key way to swap weapons that completely changes the first 5 skills that you have available. So to provide a little setup for this event that we're going to show is there is a pirate, and he's gone ahead and send out his first mates to try and capture some of the neighboring villages. This is part of a dynamic event change so that, first of all, the pirates will invade. If the players fail to defend the village, the pirates then go ahead and start setting fire to the village. I think from the smoke, we can pretty much tell that they did not succeed in defending the village, and so we are in the next stage of the event. The event actually has fire all over the village. So we have some friends helping us out, because this is very powerful, this event is pretty high level. One of the things that we'll have Sarah show you is if we can find a water bucket. Water buckets are what we call environmental weapons. They allow you to interact with the environment and perform things that you couldn't do otherwise. In this case, part of the dynamic event, part of the victory conditions for the dynamic event are to put out some of the fires. So we were literally going around trying to put fires out inside the village. Oh, cool, firewall. So firewall is a great opportunity for us to talk about what we call our cross-profession combos. You'll notice we do not have to be grouped with any of these people. In fact, we are just ad hoc allying together because we are all after the same results in the dynamic event. We don't have to be partied together. But the cool thing about cross-profession combos is we have an elementalist who just dropped a firewall. And now, when Sarah positions her pistols and fires through the firewall, her projectiles will take on that fire damage and add additional damage to her attacks. Likewise, we talked a little bit about the Guardian. One of the cool things that a Guardian can do is lay down symbols. One of the symbols can enhance healing. The interesting thing that happens there is that if a thief were to go ahead and fire her pistols through that symbol, her bullets would carry that healing buff with them, so that any players who are near the mob when they get hit by the bullets get a healing buff. So as you can see, there's some cool kind of construction blocks to some very, very fun combat that can be done without having to be partied together. Here what we're showing is our down state. The down state, you do not die initially in Guild Wars 2. What you do is you enter a down state. From the down state, you get a new health bar, a limited health bar that starts ticking down, as well as a selection of skills that have the potential to defeat an opponent. If you are able to, in that last-ditch attempt, defeat that opponent, you will rally and spring back up. You will not go back to a waypoint to res. Likewise, one of the things that was shown just now, one of the players we were with tried to do is revive us. The other important thing about our combat is, like I mentioned, we have no dedicated healing class. We felt it was very important that players be able to get back into the action really quickly. They don't have to sit around waiting for a healer to show up. Every profession has the ability to self-heal, as well as do several of the opponents have other ways of healing their people in their group. The other thing is that players, as you'll see here, oh, maybe not, because they both got knocked down. But what you see here is a player trying to revive us. And all players can revive other players. Again, this... Oh, they're trying. They're really trying. They're so close. Oh.
There's just a chain.
Yeah. Sometimes this is what happens.
And he came in for the kill.
But in a less difficult area, that other player would have been able to revive us. Again, it's not anything that's specific to any one profession. It keeps the combat flow going. You're not going to hit as many of these dead stops where we're like, oh, total wipe. Do we go back or not? No, you stay in the action. Okay. Let's see. One thing about dynamic events that we didn't touch upon yet is obviously, why would you participate in dynamic events? Other than they're cool and they just invite you in. Dynamic events, by participating in dynamic events, you do not get specific loot drops, because then that would probably incline players to try to get a certain event and say, I want this specific drop. Instead, by participating in dynamic events, you accrue an in-game currency called karma. You acquire enough karma, you can turn those in for some very valuable rewards in the game from vendors. All right, I think we've covered all the main things that make up the game. The only thing that I can think of that we didn't have time to show you relates to personal story. It really does drive home this notion of consequences, is that in Guild Wars 2, we demonstrated it in our previous demos, every player has a home instance. And a home instance is not just a single building. It is, in fact, an entire neighborhood with several buildings and structures and NPCs in there. By choices that you make in your personal story, you can determine which NPCs are present in your home instance. Are there buildings that appear in your home instance or not? Likewise, monuments to your greatness would appear in your home instance. You can, in fact, invite other players to come in and see your home instance if you want to show them off, or have them participate in parts of your personal story. So I believe with that, we've shown almost everything we had to for this demo. I appreciate your time, and thank you for your interest in Guild Wars 2.